Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into the wisdom of groundbreaking ideas, all to help you navigate the swirling currents of modern life. If you're anything like me, you often feel absolutely swamped, just this constant tide of tasks and responsibilities rolling in, leaving you feeling perpetually behind. It's that universal sense that, there's never enough time to do everything you have to do. It often feels, well, insurmountable. Today, we're tackling this head on with a deep dive into Brian Tracy's incredibly compelling work, Eat That Frog. The title itself is fantastic, isn't it? It instantly brings to mind Mark Twain's famous quote, something like, "If the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you can go through the day," knowing that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen. It's an image that sticks, for sure. And the book's promise is even more powerful to help us stop procrastinating and get more done, in less time.
It's a truly profound approach, yeah.
Yeah.
And what makes Tracy's work so impactful is that it's far more than just a collection of, productivity hacks. This is about a fundamental shift in mindset and ingrained habits. Developed and refined over more than 30 years, Tracy actually started off with few advantages, left school early, worked laboring jobs, but he watched what successful people did, applied those lessons, integrated ideas from giants like Peter Drucker, Stephen Covey. He really stresses these aren't just theories, they're battle-tested principles for anyone looking to transform their trajectory.
Okay, and our mission today, with your guidance, is to really deep dive into Tracy's framework, pulling out those most impactful, practical, and fast-acting principles. We want to find the real shortcuts to greater personal effectiveness, career advancement, and ultimately a richer personal life for all of us. Let's jump in. So the title, Eat That Frog, immediately grabs you. But let's clarify for our listeners, what exactly is Brian Tracy referring to when he talks about this frog we need to consume?
Tracy's very clear on this. He explains that your frog is your biggest, most important task, the one that you're most likely to procrastinate on if you don't do something about it.
Right.
It's also the one task that can have the greatest positive impact on your life and results right now. It's that big thing looming over you, often unpleasant, but critically important. Its most liberating insight, maybe the most challenging too, is accepting that you are never going to get caught up.
Never. It's tough to hear.
It is. The modern world's river of responsibilities. It's endless, always flowing. So the breakthrough isn't trying to do everything. It's about becoming surgical, rigorously selecting and acting on those high-leverage tasks that genuinely move the needle.
Okay, that makes sense. It really puts the mental game front and center. But, for anyone facing multiple frogs, Tracy doesn't just leave us there, does he? He gives us 2 practical rules for deciding where to even start.
Absolutely. The first rule for frog eating is, if you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the ugliest one first.
Ugliest first. Okay.
Yeah. Meaning, if you have 2 important tasks, start with the biggest, hardest, and most important one. Tackle that monster first.
Right.
The second rule is equally simple. If you have to eat a live frog at all, it doesn't pay to sit and look at it for very long. The key here is to develop the routine of eating your frog before you do anything else first thing in the morning, without overthinking it. Just get it done.
So why does this work so powerfully? Eating the ugliest frog first thing, is it purely psychological?
It definitely has a strong psychological component, yeah. Task completion, it triggers the release of endorphins and dopamines in your brain, gives you a natural high.
Ah, okay.
This creates what he calls a positive addiction to success. When you complete an important task, especially a challenging one, you feel more positive, creative, confident. Successful people aren't just busy, they're action-oriented. They consistently launch into and complete their major tasks. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle.
Interesting. Consider for a moment, listeners, what's your biggest, ugliest frog that's staring you down right now? Just think about that for a second. All right, so we understand what a frog is, but the real trick, as Tracy points out, isn't just identifying it, but setting yourself up for success. How does he advise us to set the table before we even think about taking that first bite?
This is where clarity comes in, which is maybe the most important concept in personal productivity. As Napoleon Hill once wrote, something like, there is one quality you must possess to win. Definiteness of purpose, knowing what you want, and a burning desire to achieve it. The number one reason some people get more work done faster, simply because they're absolutely clear about their goals and objectives. Vagueness. It's a major cause of procrastination.
And he offers that powerful rule for clarity. Think on paper. It sounds so simple, doesn't it?
It does.
But the impact is astonishing. Tracy tells us only about 3% of adults have clear written goals. And these individuals accomplish 5, even 10 times as much. As people with equal or better education and ability who just haven't written down exactly what they want, really highlights how that physical act boosts your focus.
It truly does.
Yeah.
And this leads us to a crucial 7-step formula for goal setting and achievement. First, decide exactly what you want.
Yeah.
This might mean a really clear discussion with your boss or, some deep personal reflection.
Okay. Step 1, clarity.
Second, write it down. Gives it tangible form, moves it beyond just a wish. Third, set a deadline. Creates urgency.
Right, the deadline.
Fourth, make a comprehensive list of everything you need to do, visualizing it, like a track to run on. Fifth, organize that list into a plan. Prioritize, sequence your steps. Sixth, take action immediately, because an average plan vigorously executed, much better than a brilliant plan that just sits there.
That's a great point. Action beats perfection.
Exactly. And finally, seventh, resolve to do something every single day that moves you toward your major goal. This daily, persistent effort. That's the ultimate differentiator.
Those 7 steps, they seem incredibly logical laid out like that. But in your experience, is there one step where people most commonly stumble? Or maybe one that's often overlooked but really makes the difference?
That's a great question. I'd say the biggest stumbling block is often step 1, truly deciding what you want with absolute clarity. We often operate with, fuzzy goals. And the most overlooked, definitely step 2, writing it down. The simple act of putting pen to paper solidifies intent, clarifies thought in a way just thinking about it can't.
That resonates. I used to just jump straight into my day, and the idea of spending 10, 12 minutes planning, it felt like procrastination itself.
Right.
But Tracy really hammers home this 10-90 rule. The first 10% of time spent planning saves 90% in execution. It means investing just that little bit of time planning your day can save you maybe 2 full hours of wasted time later.
Precisely. And he emphasizes planning your day in advance, ideally the night before. Allows your subconscious mind to work on your tasks while you sleep.
The night before. Interesting.
Yeah. And he suggests keeping different lists. A master list for everything, a monthly list, a weekly list for systematic planning, and then transferring items to your daily list. Ticking off items gives you this powerful visual picture of accomplishment. It propels you forward. It's about building a rhythm.
Imagine how much easier it would be to tackle your biggest tasks if you consistently invested just 10, 12 minutes in planning. How could you save 2 hours a day? Now, this brings us to a crucial distinction. Not all frogs carry the same weight, do they? Tracy really digs into how we identify which ones truly move the needle and which are just, well, like you said, tadpoles.
Right. This is where the famous 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, becomes both our compass and, our challenge. It's not just that 20% of your activities drives 80% of your results. It's that our human nature often makes us procrastinate on that crucial 20%, the vital, often uncomfortable work. While we busy ourselves with the comfortable but low-impact 80%, the real insight is recognizing this bias and actively fighting it.
So how do we fight it? To make this practical, Tracy gives us the ABCDE method for prioritization.
Yeah, that's very practical.
You assign a letter to each task on your list. A tasks are your very important frog's must-dos, serious consequences if not done. And if you have several A's, you rank them A1, A2, A3, with A1 being the ugliest.
Yeah, exactly. A1 is your biggest, ugliest frog. B tasks are your tadpoles. You should do them, but they only have mild consequences.
Right.
And the rule here is key. Never do a B task if an A task is left undone.
Ever. Okay.
C tasks are simply nice-to-dos like phoning a friend. No real consequences work-wise. D tasks are for delegating, freeing you up for those A tasks only you can do. And E tasks, those are things you can just eliminate. They make no real difference anyway. Cut them out.
That E is powerful. Just eliminate.
Very powerful. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about considering the consequences. Tracy points out that a long-time perspective, thinking 5, 10, even 20 years out, significantly improves our short-term decision-making. Important tasks, by definition, have long-term potential consequences. Unimportant ones have few or none. That clarity helps you identify your true frogs, not just the tasks shouting the loudest.
He also gives us 3 critical questions for figuring out priorities that I found incredibly insightful. First, what are my highest value activities? Second, what can I, and only I do, that if done well, will make a real difference? That's Peter Drucker's brilliant question, really narrows your focus.
It really does.
And third, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? Answering these honestly puts you firmly in control, redirecting your energy from busy work to impactful work.
Think about your own to-do list for a second. Which tasks truly belong in that vital few category?
Yeah.
And maybe more importantly, what immediate action will you take on your A1 task today?
Okay, so the planning is done, the target's clear. But the biggest hurdle for many of us is the act of execution, actually eating that frog and seeing it through. What strategies does Tracy give us to stay focused and, keep that momentum going?
One of the most counterintuitive yet powerful strategies is what he calls creative procrastination.
Creative procrastination. Tell me more.
Since you absolutely can't do everything, you have to deliberately procrastinate on low-value tasks, those tadpoles we mentioned, to free up time for your high-value frogs. This also means learning the power of saying no, politely but firmly, to things that don't genuinely contribute to your most important goals. It's not about avoiding work. It's about avoiding the wrong work.
I love that idea. It really reframes how we think about avoiding tasks. He shares that fantastic story about a woman named Cynthia and the law of three. By identifying her three most important tasks and focusing only on them, she actually doubled her income and her time off in less than a month.
Incredible, isn't it?
It really is. Highlights that maybe 90% of our value often comes from just three core tasks. What a powerful realization for narrowing your focus.
And that raises an important question. How do we approach those massive tasks that still feel overwhelming, even if they are our law of three tasks?
Tracy offers two brilliant techniques here. First, the salami slice method. You break a big task into smaller, manageable slices and just do one piece at a time.
Like eating salami one slice at a time. Makes sense.
Exactly. This taps into our natural compulsion to closure. Completing a small part motivates you to do more. Then there's the Swiss cheese method.
Swiss cheese, okay.
This involves punching a hole in the task by resolving to work on it for a specific short period, like just 5 or 10 minutes. Get started, make some progress. He even shared that inspiring anecdote about crossing the Sahara Desert. It was marked by oil barrels every 5 kilometers. You just had to steer for the next oil barrel.
Wow.
It proves even immense tasks can be conquered one step at a time. Focus on the next barrel. And it all starts with good preparation, doesn't it? Clearing your workspace, gathering all your materials so you have everything ready. He says, almost done probably meant not yet started. That really hits home for anyone who's put off a big project. You need to be ready to actually launch.
Absolutely. This connects to developing courage by acting as if you already have it. Just start. Once you start, the goal is single-handling every task, working without diversion or distraction until it's 100% complete.
Single-handling. I like that. No multitasking.
Right. Tracy points out that stopping and starting a task can increase the time needed to complete it by as much as 500%.
500%. Wow.
Think about that next time you quickly check your email mid-task. It's a staggering figure, a powerful reminder that focus isn't just nice. It's a massive multiplier for your effort.
Which of these strategies, creative procrastination, the law of three, salami slicing, or maybe Swiss cheesing, will you try today to conquer a task you've been avoiding? Beyond the immediate tasks, how do we build that long-term stamina? Make sure we're always at our best, day after day, year after year. It's not just about the sprint, is it? It's the marathon.
Right. This is about maximizing your personal powers. It's critical to guard your energy, physical, mental, and emotional. Tracy warns that productivity actually starts to decline after 8 or 9 hours of work. Working long, unproductive hours can be a dangerous trap.
Yeah, we've all been there.
The key is identifying your peak energy times and scheduling your most important tasks, your frogs, for those periods. He strongly recommends sufficient rest, like aiming for a 10 p.m. bedtime, taking 1 full day off per week where you completely detach, and treating yourself as a world-class athlete with healthy eating habits. The cost of not doing this, a huge drain on your effectiveness.
Treating yourself like an athlete. That's a great metaphor. And it brings us to a common modern challenge, getting out of technological time sinks. Our devices can feel like they own us sometimes.
They really can. This raises an important question. How do we wrestle back control? Technology, while it's a powerful tool, often becomes an enemy through constant interruptions, information overload.
Definitely.
Bill Gross, a highly successful fund manager, is known for detaching from tech regularly. Turns off his phone, leaves his BlackBerry behind. And there's that story of a Fortune journalist who, after vacation, just deleted 700 emails without reading them. Realize just because somebody sends me an email does not mean that they own a piece of my life.
That takes guts.
It does. The lesson is to create zones of silence and consciously use technology as a servant, not let it become your master.
Building on that, how do we keep ourselves, motivating ourselves into action, even when the day feels long or the task feels really daunting?
Tracy emphasizes that 95% of our emotions are determined by our self-talk, how we talk to ourselves.
95%, that's huge.
It is. So, to stay motivated, you must become a complete optimist. Look for the good in every situation, seek the valuable lesson in every setback, always look for solutions. It's about consciously telling yourself, I can do it, and I feel terrific. This positive self-talk isn't just, fluffy thinking. It's a powerful driver of consistent action.
And that leads to developing what he calls a sense of urgency.
Exactly. This is an inner drive to get things done quickly. It leads to a bias for action. When you cultivate this, you can enter the flow state, that miraculous state of high performance, clarity, creativity, where everything feels effortless, time almost disappears.
Ah, the flow state. Everyone wants that.
Right. It's about consistently repeating the mantra, do it now, and when you get distracted, back to work. Keep that momentum going.
How much time could you save this week by creating zones of silence or maybe delegating email? What shift in your self-talk could lead to greater motivation and maybe even that flow state? So, to bring it all together then, our deep dive into Eat That Frog reveals a profound truth, doesn't it? Mastering these principles, particularly eating your biggest, ugliest frog first thing every day. It's not some innate talent. It's a learnable skill that, when consistently applied, becomes a cornerstone for, well, unlimited success and personal satisfaction.
Absolutely. These principles, when practiced diligently, they don't just stay as strategies. They become automatic habits that will profoundly transform your career and your personal life. Persistence in this context is really self-discipline in action. It shapes your character and makes you, in Tracy's words, master of your own destiny.
Before we go, here's a final provocative thought from Brian Tracy himself, something for you listening to chew on. What one skill, if you developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on your career?
Reflect on that question. Really think about it. Identify that skill. And then, as Tracy encourages, go to work to bring up your performance in this area. Just begin and the mind grows heated. Continue and the task will be completed. Eat that frog.